Hello there, guys. Hopefully everything's going well with you. Today we're going to look at Game 2 of CreatorPrime versus Liquid Sheth. Our map here, the choice of the map here was Bel'shir Beach Winter, and this is Game 2 of the North American Playhem tournament 5 days ago, or so. And what we're going to see is just an interesting build out of Zerg that FXO Lenok has the one kind of popularized it on this map. But I get to show it here to you guys in this sort of VOD, so hopefully you guys will be able to take note. And if you like it, definitely feel free to use it. It's very, very good to use from time to time, especially on maps where if you look here at the ramp, this is very, very hard for a Protoss to wall. And it can be very hard to stop even with a nice wall. So it's very hard to have a double wall. And we'll get into that more later. Last game, Creator won, so he's ahead 1-0 in score. And at this point, it's kind of a do-or-die moment. You have to have a good idea of what to do on this map. It's a good map for both races. Third is pretty open, and it's a pretty big map, which has these two towers here, which is pretty good for Zerg. So definitely, it's a good choice for Zerg to pick. Let me put up the production tab, the unit tab. Wish you could do two at once, but just have to deal with it. Just even. Obviously, nothing special is happening up to this point. Here's the part of the build: 14 gas, 14 extractor, and then it's going to be a 14 spawning pool. This leads to a bunch of different things. Basically, it gives you speed first, and that's pretty important. It's what you want if you want to deny scouting, and if you want to just kind of keep the momentum on your side. It's an okay build to do from time to time. Creator is going to scout it, which is good. Interestingly enough, he decided to forge first. I don't know if this was a good decision or a bad decision, but it's a safe decision. Especially on this map with a wide choke like we talked about, it's usually good to get this forge, and it helps you build that wall just in case of something like a 6 or an 8 pool. This isn't quite as soon, it's almost like a 16 pool. So just being annoying with this little probe, and I, on the other hand, am just playing this pretty standardly. Get a 15 Overlord, and then whenever this finishes, we're going to bring a Queen and some Zerglings. Interestingly enough, a lot of times you pull drones once you've gotten this 100 gas to get speed. With this build, you do not. Notice I'm keeping the drones here on gas. And we're actually going to leave them there pretty much the whole game. Protoss player usually wants to sit around here to deny the hatchery and the expansion, and in the meantime, if you look here, he's not only expanded, throw down a gateway and a pylon, he's also got a cannon coming up, and this is a pretty good wall, at least as good as walls can come on this map. Notice it takes 4 buildings, and even that isn't enough to completely wall it. It's something you want to take note of, especially the fact that this pylon, whenever it's used to block back here, will be very vulnerable. So going back here, we throw down our baneling nest right when we get 100 or 50 gas extra after this, and then we start to only make Zerglings. Right now, if you look in the field, we have these 4 and these 6. So we've been making Zerglings to this point. If you look at the unit counts, we're up to 12. Notice we're way behind on workers. We're not going to be able to catch up in that unless these Zerglings do a lot of damage. So that's pretty much the point here. We're kind of sending these 4 up in front, and if I could do it over, I would have sent 6 up front, because these can already be made into banelings. But now I'm only making 4. I have to wait for these to get here to make 2 more. Takes, I believe, 5 to destroy a pylon. I usually like to get 6 anyway, just to be safe. And in this case, we'll do that while we're waiting for these Zerglings to finish getting here. Actually, these, excuse me. And at this point, you just rally the rest up to here, and hopefully this works. If we don't get by, we just lose. And notice, let me pause it real quick. This is what he's decided to do, is put down a bunch of cannons and just make this area secure. And notice instead, this is 450 minerals, and he never actually saw anything. He might have sent a probe. So even if he did see it, this was his choice, was to make cannons instead of trying to finish a wall. And again, notice this is 450 minerals that he could have maybe put a gateway, and a gateway, and a gateway, but that's still not enough to completely wall this front. You need even more, and the fact is the gateways made would be very low on health. So maybe something like a baneling or continued pressure from these Zerglings, especially if there's only one cannon, you can simply break it down even while it's building. Especially if you have a wide area to attack it from. So there's really no way to give a great wall even with this if this minerals had been spent properly. If you could have canceled the Nexus first, there's definitely a way to do it, but without canceling that Nexus, it's very difficult to figure out what to do. So let's keep playing and we'll see how it plays out. There's the break and the run by. We have one baneling left over, which is pretty important. And we get to come here, and you just want to kill as many probes as you can, control this baneling properly, and that worked out pretty well. We got a lot of probe kills, and we just want to keep putting that pressure on. Notice here now he has 4 probes, 5 probes. Literally, that's the only probes he has left in this entire game. If you go to units, it's 14 drones to 7 probes. It doesn't matter too much that he has these 2 cannons. He really just needs more probes. And I'm still just trying my best to deny him of that. That's kind of what's really important at this point. And notice again, it's 14 to 4. At this point, I tried to bust down the front and just do damage. It wasn't necessarily a great idea, but at this point I figured it didn't matter. As notice, it's still 3 probes to 14 drones, and we are able to break down that pylon and get into the main with these 3 Zerglings. I think realistically I should have just kept my Zerglings over here to deny this mining, and the game would end right now. But I go into a macro game, and again notice the supply is 5 to 26. I'm not going to bore you guys with the finish of this game. Just imagine, we'll actually watch it faster, I suppose. Basically, we kill him. Choose a time. He doesn't have much money. He doesn't have much of an entrance. Make a lot more banelings. Still only at 14 drones. And at this point, even though he has this 1 sentry to wall, something the banelings can't break, it doesn't matter. This many banelings, we could actually probably go for the forge, go for this pylon. There are a lot of options that we have here with this. Even just going to macro from here is fine, as we have this other hatchery up, and we're still way ahead on workers, more than double. But we break down that, and we just go into the main this way. We're actually just killing the cannons and everything, because we know he doesn't have that many minerals left to do anything. So this has been how to baneling bust your opponent with Liquid Sheth. Hopefully you try this out sometimes on maps with big fronts, big areas there for those banelings to come and run in. It's a really strong strategy to use against those who you think you really just can't win in a straight-up game, or even people who just play really standard and straight-up every game, maybe who don't scout as much as they should. So hopefully keep that all in mind, and we'll have the 3rd game up as soon as can be, the final game between Liquid Sheth and CreatorPrime in this tournament. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.